This is Kosei. We tried for about 4 years to conceive. We did 2 IUIs that both failed. I did a whole series of acupuncture and herbal treatments. And ultimately, we conceived through a procedure called ZIFT, which is zygote intrafallopian transfer. And what that is similar to IVF, but instead of growing the fertilized egg in a lab for about 3 or 4 or 5 days, you put it back in the very next day, and instead of into the uterus, you put it into the fallopian tube.
Which requires surgery instead of...
a laparoscopic surgery.
Yeah. It's called Unexplained Infertility.
Yes, the Unexplained Infertility, which is a beast in and of itself, because you don't really have some kind of answer that you can treat, some kind of problem that you can fix. This was, nothing's happening, very frustrating. The fertility specialist that we saw recommended that we start with an IUI, which is intrauterine insemination. And so when both cycles failed, obviously that was very painful. So we pretty much went right into a cycle. Fortunately, my FSH level at that point was dropped down to the high end of normal, so we could proceed with the procedure. But then we still had problems. I wasn't reacting very well to the drugs, not side effects, but my follicles weren't responding very well. The goal is to try to get as many eggs available as possible, but I only had about 4 that seemed to be maturing.
But they have a low end that they are willing to go with if they're going to go and complete the surgery aspect of it. And as we got to the point where they were counting them, and we'd go in every couple days, and he'd count them, and it was always on the borderline, and I think it was like 8 or 7 or 6.
No, it was 4.
4. It was 4
that we had.
In the end. And at 4 is, he wouldn't go with any less than 4, but he said, I'll go with 4. Well, it worked.
It worked. Well, what's odd, sometimes I look at him, it just feels like the most natural thing in the world. I don't even think about those 4 years, and it was a devastating 4 years. We had so many friends who were getting pregnant left and right, having babies, and it just, it was a very, very difficult time.
It's just important to say that you always think it's not going to happen.
Yeah, I was at the, toward the end of those 4 years, I was really in a mindset where you don't want to hope for it anymore, because that in and of itself is a burden. And as a woman, I was questioning, as the first thing that was completely out of my control. It was my own body, and it was out of my control. There was really nothing, and it was unexplained infertility. There was no problem to fix, no easy solution. People kept saying, oh, it'll happen, just relax, which is just the worst thing to hear, because then you feel like you're not acting properly or something. And
patience and persistence.
Don't give up. And I think in retrospect, I would also say you're not alone. I didn't realize this until when I was going through the fertility treatment and met some other mothers that way.